Welcome back to Craft Computing, everyone. As always, I'm Jeff. Today I wanted to go over some progress we made with Openviro over the last couple weeks, starting with a massive upgrade to the enclosure. During the announcement video, I showed off the Openviro Axe PoE with a 3D printed I/O shield. And while 3D printing is great for prototyping, it definitely was not going to hold up long-term in a rack-mounted device. So once I had a design that I liked, I uploaded the drawings to SendCutSend, and in less than a week, this is what I got back in the mail. And before you ask, while SendCutSend does sponsor a number of channels, this was not sponsored by them in any way. But hey, maybe we can work together in the future, because I am definitely impressed with the whole process of buying parts from them and the quality of the parts that I got back. So first up, we have the front I/O panel, which includes the rack ears, and getting these made out of metal was definitely very high on my priority list. The 3D printed enclosure, while it does look the part, it's a little bit floppy when you put it in the rack, and this was not going to hold up long term. Making these out of metal, this is 5052 aluminum, 1.6 millimeter thick. This is a much more rigid panel and much closer to something that I would associate with a rack-mountable device. On the rear I/O panel, I was a little bit more confident that these were going to fit on the first try, so I actually put a little bit more design work into these, including rounding the corners off. We've also got these little cutouts to fit the grooves that are on the aluminum extruded case, and the end result is quite good. Obviously, I was very excited and couldn't wait to film the video to do a first test fit, and I am thrilled with how these have turned out so far, especially on the rear I/O. I nailed the design work on the cutouts and the tabs there. The front panel is definitely a little bit more rough. There's a lot more work that I need to do on this. Obviously, I need to round off the edges so they're not quite so sharp. I also completely forgot to model the LED indicator lights that are on either side of the USB, so we will have to add holes for those. But something else that needs done is figuring out what finish that I want to apply to these. Right now, these are literally just raw aluminum straight off of the laser cutter from SendCutSend. I don't know if I want to go with a brushed finish, a laser etched finish. I do know that I do want to laser etch the labels above all the ports, buttons, LEDs, etc. But that's something that I'm going to do here since I happen to have a fiber laser out in my garage. As far as installing these into the server rack, I can tell you these are infinitely stiffer than the PLA faceplates that I was using. I'm considerably less worried that sliding a server in and out of a rack is going to completely destroy one of my units now. And in fact, while we're here, why don't we go out to my garage and let's try to laser finish a couple of these and just see how they turn out. I might as well put that fiber laser to work, right? All right, so we are out here in my garage, and I've already done a little bit of work importing my designs for the front and the rear panel. So here is the rear panel, complete with some labeling right here. We've got the probe rear sensor, we've got the DC barrel jack input, and then we've got our Ethernet port right there. And if we show the front I/O, you can see I've got a similar thing right here. So I've got the whole boundary of the front I/O into the laser, as well as all the port labels. Let's go ahead, and I want to see what this looks like just with some etching to the rear I/O. So let's go ahead and just etch this plate and see how it changes the finish. So here we've got the rear I/O shield. Again, this is just raw straight off of the SendCutSend laser cutters. There's a little bit of scratches, and it's just not a great looking finish. Let's go ahead and put that down there. Okay, so we are perfectly lined up. Excellent. And let's hit start. And by the way, this is real time. This is why I love this laser so much. And we're done. So now we should have, if the camera will focus, a decent matte finish on it. I think we can have SendCutSend do a little deburring on the edges for us. I think that's a finish that I can apply right here. I like that. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and etch in our labels as well. This one should be even faster, so 3, 2, 1, here we go. And it's done. And there we go. We've got some nice labels above all of our ports. That's freaking excellent. Let's do that a couple more times. And this time we can do it all in one pass, so we can see exactly how long each panel will take me. Eight seconds. 8 seconds, and we have basically a ready-to-install rear panel. That's awesome. All right, the front panels, they have a little bit more laser blowout on them. You can see quite a bit more scratch and slag marks from the laser on the front right here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to give this just a little bit more power, and let's see if we can take those marks out. So here we go. I had not the mode I had intended to cut with, but that'll work. All right, didn't quite get rid of the blemishes. I think those are going to need some abrasive to really get rid of those, but I really like the finish that this applied. That is a really good looking matte finish. So yeah, I think we are going to need to do some kind of a brush finish, some kind of an abrasive, maybe a bead tumble to get rid of some of these laser slag marks before they get to me. But my machine engraves aluminum very well, so I can do the labeling no problem. There we go. All right. I think that'll tell us enough for what we need to know today. Let's go and do a couple more of those so we know it works. All right. Yeah, still leaves some of the burn through marks, but I do like that finish. I think that's going to work well. All right. I am pretty pleased with that for a first go. These turned out pretty darn excellent. Let's see what a finished panel looks like on an actual device. All right, so you can see the design that we use. So the board just slides right in on a set of rails. Here we go. Nice. Oh, that looks sweet. I love it when things just work and fit. All right, there we go. I'm definitely pleased with that so far. This is as close to a finished product as I've produced thus far. We definitely have a lot of work left to do. There are some sharp edges. I'll definitely have to add a deburring step to whoever I have manufacture these, be that Send Cut Send or anyone else. Even just a brush roller or a bead tumble should take care of any slag and sharp edges that are left from the cutting. I do need to round the corners because I don't want any razor blades in anyone's racks. I don't want anything that you can cut your hand on. But no, I'm thrilled with that. But I think that's a perfect place to wrap up this quick little update video. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments of this video and I will reply to every single one of them, or you can email me directly at info@openviro.com. And as you're probably aware, and I certainly hope you're aware, pre-ordering is now live. You can order an Openviro Axe PoE of your own over at Crowd Supply or visit openviro.com for more information. But that's going to do it for me in this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Cheers, everyone.